Celebrities are people too, and their struggles often take place far from the cameras. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today, we're counting down our picks for the top 10 celebs you had no idea battled addiction. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at now clean celebrities who struggled with some form of addiction in the past, either before becoming famous or while keeping it secret from the press. Number 10, Bradley Cooper.
Through a night we'll never remember, but the four of us will never forget.
While Bradley Cooper's big mainstream break was playing Phil in The Hangover, he appeared in 46 episodes of Alias between 2001 and 2006.
We're gonna get 4 bottles of champagne, and I'm gonna tip you like I ordered 5. Yes, sir. Do you know what I mean? Yes, sir. You do, don't you? You cheeky little bastard.
And it almost killed him, literally. At the time, Cooper was an alcoholic and taking various drugs, and he believes that it negatively affected his potential.
I would never be sitting here with you. No way, no chance.
Because?
Because I wouldn't have been able to have access to myself or other people, or even been able to take in other people if I hadn't changed my life. No way.
When he only received sporadic and dwindling work on Alias, he considered himself a failed actor and contemplated taking his own life. After realizing that he was ruining his life, Cooper went sober and eventually earned more consistent and lucrative work, leading him to the A-list he sits atop today. Number 9, Ed Sheeran. It's no secret that Ed Sheeran enjoys a beer, but you may be surprised to hear that it almost ruined his life. While appearing on the Jonathan Ross show, Sheeran said that he fell into various pitfalls of fame, one of them being constant partying and substance abuse. He later told People that he was downing up to 6 pints of beer a night. After gradually slipping deeper into substance abuse, he was helped by his girlfriend and colleagues and took a year off from music. He's since lost 50 pounds due to cutting his beer intake and no longer drinks to excess.
I still do all those things, but just not in excess. My dad said anything in moderation. So yeah, I just basically needed to moderate.
Number 8, Terry Crews. Terry Crews has always been an open book, whether it's testifying against being a victim of sexual assault or opening up about his addiction to pornography.
I was a card-carrying member of this toxic masculinity, and it all came through with me realizing that I didn't know everything.
In a Facebook video, Crews spoke about his addiction, saying that he spent entire days watching pornography and that it severely affected his marriage.
My dirty little secret was that I was addicted to pornography for years. Now, most of you who are on Facebook are using the internet, and it's kind of crazy because this thing has become a problem. I think it's a worldwide problem.
He managed to keep it a secret from his family, and it wasn't until his wife stopped trusting him and left that Crews sought help and entered rehab. Luckily, he was able to repair his relationship and now openly speaks about the challenges of masculinity and addiction.
And you're successful, you feel like that buys you a pass. That it's her, that it's them, it's everyone else. But then a small voice came to me and said, maybe it's me.
Number 7, Lady Gaga. Marijuana is often seen as a relatively harmless habit, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing in excess, as Lady Gaga could tell you. To deal with the pressures of fame and the pain of a significant hip injury, Gaga began experimenting with different drugs, including weed.
I do see now that some of that had to do with my hip pain. I didn't know where the pain was coming from, so I was just in a lot of pain and very depressed all the time and not really sure why.
During an appearance on Elvis Duran and The Morning Show, Gaga admitted that she'd previously been smoking up to 20 joints a day and, quote, living on a totally other psychedelic plane.
And I was smoking up to 15 to 20 marijuana cigarettes a day with no tobacco.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I was living
stuff
on a totally other psychedelic plane, numbing myself completely.
She later told Zane Lowe that the best bit of advice Elton John ever gave her was to get sober.
What's the best bit of advice Elton ever gave you?
To get sober.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a smart one.
Very smart.
Number 6, Simon Pegg. Just as Simon Pegg was transitioning from low-budget English films to mega blockbusters, he was sinking deeper into depression and alcoholism. Even landing the parts of Scotty in Star Trek and Benji in Mission Impossible opposite Tom Cruise, couldn't make him happy.
Did you recover anything?
Yes. Despite the aforementioned conditions of the hard drive you brought back, I managed to recover portions of 24 email files. Also made what I believe to be a thoroughly promotion-worthy breakthrough.
He shocked even himself when the birth of his daughter didn't break his mood. However, for a long time, he kept it a secret, including from his best friend Nick Frost.
You need to eat before you go, you need to pace yourself, and you need to drink slowly. I mean, if you do it fast, you go, but that's all behind me now.
Fortunately, he later attended AA at the behest of his wife, and later created the character of Gary King in The World's End to exorcise his alcoholic demons.
Hey, Earth isn't perfect, all right? And humans aren't perfect. And guess what? I ain't perfect.
Number 5, Jane Lynch. Surprisingly, Jane Lynch, best known for her role in wholesome comedy drama Glee, has a long history of substance abuse.
Every time you patronize me, I will take it back.
Leave me alone.
I will knock you out!
In her memoir, Happy Accidents, Lynch writes that she was a frequent drinker throughout her 20s and early 30s. Fearing that she was growing dependent on alcohol, Lynch quit drinking when she was 31, but took to downing bottles of NyQuil on a nightly basis to fall into deep sleeps and happy oblivion. Later, while in New York for a role in a play about the Brady Bunch, she, quote, smoked herself into oblivion, which proved to be the final straw. She finally sought help and managed to kick the habit, ending up in a much better place.
Or you see how absurd, how far your addiction takes you and how you justify, well, that wasn't drinking. Yeah. That wasn't the crack. It was just, it was a bad night. Mercury was in retrograde. It wasn't the crystal meth.
Number 4, Kristin Davis. Kristin Davis played the cosmopolitan guzzling Charlotte in Sex and the City, which must have been difficult for the actress, seeing as how she still considers herself a recovering alcoholic.
My hair hurts.
Davis began drinking when she was a teenager to overcome her shyness and fit in at school, and the occasional drink developed into full-blown alcoholism. This continued throughout high school and into acting school, where she often showed up hungover and tired due to over-drinking the night before. Realizing that her prospects would plummet if she drank herself into expulsion or failure, she entered rehab and has now been sober for over 30 years.
I'm really not interested.
One drink, I'll even buy Blondie here one.
Number 3, Chrissy Teigen.
It's a mama.
In Chrissy Teigen's own words, she, quote, can't have just one drink, which is a pretty relatable admission. Like Ed Sheeran, the fast-paced lifestyle of showbiz has seemingly affected Teigen, who's opened up about overindulging at boozy brunches and award shows.
Sorry to bother you, my queen. Like, who says that?
What?
It was like, milady.
In her opinion, her drinking would often get out of hand and embarrass both herself and husband John Legend.
Are you mad at me?
Why would I be mad at you?
I don't know, cause
You're perfect.
I got drunk.
When Teigen realized that she was going overboard, she decided to slow it down, especially given a family history of debilitating alcohol addiction. She wanted to fix herself for both herself and her family, and we wish her all the best.
She was telling herself and telling us as friends and family that she wanted to drink less and be more in control of that, and she's already been doing it.
Number 2, Adele. We'll never get another Adele album as good as 21, at least according to Adele herself. And perversely, alcohol plays a key role. When Adele was young, she was abandoned by her alcoholic father and suffered numerous heartbreaks, which led to frequent drinking. When she tasted success, she drank to alleviate the pressures of fame, leading to forgotten lines and stumbles on stage. She also admits that she was, quote, completely off her face while writing 21, which contributed to the honesty of the album. It was a lifestyle that couldn't last forever though, and she decided to tone it down after giving birth to her son Angelo. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis has been one of the coolest, most outspoken, and reputable actors in Hollywood for 40 years, so it's surprising to hear that she was a victim of opioid addiction.
Grateful for my life. The luckiest girl in the world.
After undergoing minor plastic surgery in 1989, Curtis was prescribed painkillers and subsequently faced a decade-long struggle. At the same time, she began to drink heavily to numb herself from the fear of growing old. In 1998, however, her sister found out, and Curtis told her husband, attended her first recovery meeting, and has remained sober ever since. She now considers her recovery her greatest personal achievement.
Of the different projects you've done, which one changed you the most?
It wasn't work.
It wasn't work?
No.
So what was it?
I got sober.
How hard was that?
That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.